name is Scott Williams. I'm the Chief Product Officer at KUGU, and I have been at KUGU for 6 months. Now, if I remember correctly, I'd left one job. I'd just done a large AWS migration during COVID and needed some time off when I was in Berlin. And then I believe that I met your good self because I was looking for work, and then subsequently found out there was a whole community of other product people all experiencing different pain points and issues and the usual product, technology, culture stuff. And so I think that's how I met you guys. Well, the value is firstly kind of like, it's the wisdom of insecurity, right? So like, I've been doing this for a very, very long time, too long, one could argue. But I absolutely don't think product and technology is a process, and it's about support and validation and hypotheses and testing, experimentation. And so I think being able to take the experiences that you have and apply them and then hear other people's is a genuinely valuable process. So from my perspective, being able to take my experiences and some of the issues that I face and hear other people and how they've challenged and how they've overcome them enables me to grow and learn. I don't generally think kind of sitting in a room trying to work all this stuff out for yourself is particularly a very good idea. So from my perspective, having a network of people to talk to and chat to is absolutely vital, I think. Because startups are difficult, and there's a broad culture in startups, which is like, if you're kind of at the top of the tree, if you're a CTO or CPO, it's like you have all the answers, right? That's kind of broadly the culture, and nothing could be further from the truth. So I think from the startup perspective, how you approach problems, how you think about problems, how you solve those problems, how you grow and keep culture going, how you define culture, how you change it as you scale. There is no fixed way of being able to do that. And also I think there's an element where right place, right time drives a lot of the success. So I think there's a lot of post-rationalization where you just did some stuff and it worked way better than you actually realized it would. And I think having people kind of also call you out on that as well. So kind of like asking you, like, did that just happen because right place, right time, or was your plan good? Is also a good ego check, because I think people tend to write about startups like they're kind of like a World Cup game, right? And invariably it's pretty boring news, but we talk about it in a kind of slightly exciting way. So I think trying to keep grounded and having constant feedback and people challenging you is really how you grow and become successful. And so I think that's really valuable for me, definitely. I think there's especially within Berlin, I think there's two tranches of kind of startup. They're the ones that think that they can do everything their own way in a completely different way, which is a very Berlin cultural thing. And there are other businesses that don't. So I think KUGU had got to kind of stage 1, kind of the base camp, but to be able to scale kind of the mountain and go to stage 2, they needed someone who understood technology, products, culture, prioritization, problem solving, all that kind of stuff. Because they'd been doing it, but like they wanted to grow the numbers sizably, so they had to fundamentally hire someone like me, and I had to basically be a bit of a pain in the ass for 6 months and ask the really difficult questions and get work signed off that no one thought was important until it landed, and those kind of things. So ultimately kind of being an agent of change to enable them to fulfill what they ultimately want to achieve. The first thing is that I've been very lucky in my career. I've been working in digital since about '98, and was at Google at the start, and like I've worked with some incredible people over the years. So I think first of all, bringing in that experience, I wouldn't go too far to say it was wisdom, because that's not for me to judge. But I've built a lot of stuff and I've made a lot of mistakes, and so being able to bring that in and talk openly about how you scale products and how you scale a business And what does scaling actually mean? Which is ultimately it's like making more money and becoming more popular, and trying to minimize the amount of mistakes that you make along the way. That's ultimately what I think scaling is ultimately about. And so I think I've had a lot of experience with that. So I think I've come in and been that kind of agent provocateur a little bit, which is like, why are you doing it this way? Why are we doing it this way? Why are you using that tech? Why are you using this? Why are you using that? Questioning everything, which is annoying, right? Because it's like, we've all got a nephew or a niece that you take out for the day, and they're like, why is the sky blue and why is the grass green? And after a while, you're like, please shut up. Unfortunately, I just don't shut up. So I think culturally, from a management perspective, that's one of my key roles. And then the second thing is that you then have to take what we have and try and improve it. So I think sometimes scaling is about changing 100 small things, and then sometimes at the same time concurrently you have to change a couple of big things, and you have to kind of run those concurrently. And sometimes it's that old adage of like you can't make omelette without breaking a few eggs. So it's like I think part of my job is kind of picking the right eggs to be broken. And if that analogy holds true, which now I've said it out loud, maybe it doesn't, but yeah, I think that's ultimately what I'm here to do, and obviously to drive best-in-class products and product governance and growth and all those things too. It depends on the context, right? I guess, and the company. But one of the dangers of when you start a startup, or you do a startup, whatever the verb is, when you start up, I guess, is that when all you need is a little bit of success to start validating all your behaviors, all your thoughts, all your philosophies, and then you get one customer, and you get two customers, you get three customers, and then you're like, oh, I'm being a startup. And I think the danger is in there that no one's going to be sense checking you or asking you, or like, do you have the people around you who have done this before? So I think it's kind of like, the kind of the faux arrogance of success, which is like, the thing that kills most startups is growth, is trying to scale. And so if you haven't done it before, do not think it's easy. Do not think it's easy, because it's not. Startups are the hardest thing to kind of get right. So I think being the right leader and having humility and going out there and changing how you think, behave and act is a prerequisite for being successful. And so I think that's a really hard thing for people to do. So I think, like I said, it's context based, but I think at no point should you ever feel like you're on the winning path. Like, for me, startups are like almost certainly always about to fail. That's the way I see it. If you put humans and technology together, the only thing that you can guarantee is failure on some level, or like a pivot or something you don't know about. And so I'm not a huge fan of move fast and break things. I think it's like move fast and find out what's going on. And if that involves breaking things to find out, then fine. But so I think startup founders should absolutely every 3 months sanity check everything and be confronted with things about themselves they don't like, because it is a personal journey as well as a professional one.